we are giving the SEC the benefit of the doubt, and they have not earned it. I have said this now for 2 years. You go on social media. Let's state the facts here. I said last year, while I worked at ESPN, that I thought the SEC was overhyped last year. I said the quarterback play is awful. This year it's worse. We are giving them the benefit of the doubt based on the previous 8 years. You do realize, do you not, that the SEC last year in bowls against ranked teams was 2-5. Alabama got their arse kicked by Ohio State. You do realize they don't have a draftable quarterback. You do realize that LSU and Georgia, big dogs, right, in the South, are so bad one's fired a coach, the other's about to. Florida had to last year. Florida's going to play in the SEC championship right against Alabama. Well, how do I know they're any good? Let's go to who they've played out of conference, because you can't keep arguing they're beating SEC teams. Oh, they needed overtime at home to beat Florida Atlantic. They were beaten 27-2 by Florida State. Struggled with East Carolina. If I said to you, there's a team that needed overtime to beat Florida Atlantic, was humiliated by Florida State, and struggled to beat East Carolina, and I said they're playing for a conference championship, would you think the conference is great? The SEC, who's Alabama's win? I know their offensive coordinator. We text regularly. It's a one-man offense with an undraftable quarterback and a rebuilt offensive line. They struggled against Arkansas, Tennessee, and Auburn. If Alabama was called Wisconsin, SEC fans would mock them. Why should Alabama be a top 4 team? They don't have an impressive win. Ole Miss, they lost at home. Arkansas, they lost to Toledo. So when they ravaged Florida this weekend, so did Florida State. Florida Atlantic had them beat. Gators bailed out at home on a bad call. I'm not giving the SEC champ the benefit of the doubt. Look at the data. Alabama does not have an NFL quarterback. Michigan State does. Oklahoma does. Oklahoma is 5-0 against ranked teams. 3 straight against the top 11. 2 NFL running backs, NFL quarterback, NFL defensive lineman. Prove what is Alabama? Their defense. What about it? They haven't faced an NFL quarterback this year. Alabama hasn't faced an NFL quarterback this season. I'm sorry, but LSU and Georgia are so bad, their ADs have fired or will fire the head coach. All your blue bloods are awful. Auburn's awful. LSU's awful. Georgia's awful. Florida's rebuilding. So you want me to rely on your Arkansas and your Kentuckys and your Vanderbilts? I mean, hell, the Pac-12's got 10 bowl-eligible teams. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The Big Ten this year, from the top to the middle, is the best conference this year. Iowa's got a kid that will get, if not drafted, Bobby Beathard's grandson will get a look in the NFL. Michigan State NFL quarterback. J.T. Barrett played as well as a quarterback can play Saturday. I thought he was brilliant. So LSU's announcing that Les Miles is staying. Let me tell you something. That's mostly the media getting on LSU. He should be staying, but they're not happy, and they haven't played well for 2 years. Georgia's fired their coach. So this idea that the SEC is living totally off reputation. Totally off reputation. Where's Alabama's wins? Well, the SEC was what? 2-5 in bowls last year against ranked teams? We're giving the SEC credit based on what they did for a 9-year stretch, and I was the first guy waving the SEC flag. But I've watched games for 2 years. The quarterback play is pathetic. It is the worst quarterbacked major conference in college football. It's awful. Awful. LSU, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, awful. Would not be offered scholarships to other conference schools. So I've got Clemson, Oklahoma, Michigan State, and Ohio State, and I have Bama like 5th or 6th. But every Bama fan's like, I tell you, we'd win by. Give me data. I don't want to hear about we would do this. I saw you play Ohio State last weekend, and I would take Oklahoma over Alabama this second. NFL quarterback. Bama doesn't have one. Bama's a one-man offense. That's all they are. I'm sorry. That is it. Clemson, Oklahoma, Michigan State, Ohio State, and I absolutely believe this year, from the first team to the 5th, Big Ten's the best conference. From the first team to the 5th. I think Pac-12 is 2nd. I think the SEC's 3rd. And this is not me trying to puncture a balloon now that I work at Fox. I said this last year. Ever since Aaron Murray and Zach Mettenberger left the SEC, they haven't had NFL quarterbacks. It's a quarterback sport. It's a quarterback. Oklahoma's got an NFL quarterback.